Oh, it works. Thank you. So I've also prepared some slides. So first of all, thank you for the invitation to talk about future inspirations. I like that. So we will hear a lot, and I hope you have also inspirations for the workshops after that. So what I'm talking about is these four key points. I want to give you an overview. Why are we talking about digital transformation and all of that stuff? Why is it so important to drive into this area and also have some views on the technology? Then I want to give you also some examples on that, what works already in regions, what is a possibility of regional development from a bottom-up perspective to integrate all the people who are living there. And then, what comes next? Because the frequency of change is increasing rapidly, and I think we have to be prepared for some other things which we'll maybe not know at the moment. And for my background, I feel very comfortable here because I'm coming from such a region. My father was a farmer, but not full-time. It was a job beside his working program at the construction industry. And I, as his son, was also part of the game because when we had free time, we were working for the farm, of course. Yeah. And the first question was coming up with a job in this region, what could you do? I was highly qualified for different jobs, but my father said, you should go a craftsman in the first step, because then you earn your own money, yeah, and then maybe later you can take over the farm. In this, we have not so much land in the background. We had 2 cows, some chickens, and so on. So I think it was enough to live about that. But from an economic perspective, it was not that what I would take over. So I waited for the first possibility to escape. And that lead me to the area where I'm working now. I come in this area of telematics, information technology and all that stuff. I liked working with computers and all of this. And I had really the chance to learn a lot. And if you learn a lot, you know what you do not know, the better. Yeah? And then at the end of the day, I had a doctoral thesis in innovation and knowledge management, and that was the beginning of also an entrepreneurship area. We are 24 years in this area of innovation and knowledge management. We'll deliver services to different areas. And what we also do, we have a European Digital Innovation Hub for digitalization. That's maybe a first tip for you. All of the 169 European Digital Innovation Hubs, Liechtenstein has also one of them, are prepared to help you with trainings, with services, prototyping, investment opportunities to find one of this. So that's what we are doing. Also test before you invest, and that's a nice infrastructure. And all regions in the Alps have different possibilities to have a partnership with these hubs, because the idea is in 2 hours or 200 kilometers you can find one of them. Yeah? And that's a great advantage and a great infrastructure which you can use. And the next period of these hubs, which will start 2026, will also have a repositioning of the hubs. It's not only digitalization, it's a one-stop shop for artificial intelligence. Yeah, so that's a very important resource we will talk about also in the next keynote. And that's really, you should go in contact with that if you have projects, because most of the services are for free. Yeah, so that's also what I'm driving. Yeah. Alpine region, what's your vision? I heard some words in the first speeches. What's the problems? What can we do? Do you have a vision on that? I was thinking about preparing my keynote, and then also working with artificial intelligence. I had some prompting experiences in the background, and that came out with my thoughts. Yeah. The prompt is on the left side. So I was escaping from my region, but what was missing? Yeah, at the moment when I was missing, we had no digital infrastructure. We had no internet connection at this area. Also no possibility to get a good job and so on. So what I would see as a vision is that the elderly people and the younger people maybe use the digital transformation to have a workplace and a highly, I would say, also quality environment where you have a lot of possibilities to spotting things or have a great opportunity also to have a highly level of living and areas and so on. Lienz is such a place. I'm here the first time, but I'm impressed. It's really a great area. And think about that, maybe if you integrate the technology skills in this region with all the inhabitants which are living there, and then maybe you can think about how can we work from this area for other ones? How can we bring tourists to this area, maybe also in the working environment, could become up with startups and something else. So, yes. Maybe a first inspiration, but you can see that is not a picture which is real. It's created from artificial intelligence. That were the first versions, so it took longer to come to that output. Of course, that's also maybe something which I can give you as a first tip also for artificial intelligence. You need management skills on that. Because what are you doing if you address some questions to, or give some prompts to artificial intelligence? It's a delegation of a task. And managers who are not aware to do that will also have a problem with artificial intelligence. But artificial intelligence, all the agents in the background can help you. So you will have to learn the skills to delegate your work tasks to something else. And that's a machine, yeah, in the background. And that's also what we have to learn. Why is the speed increasing so fast at the moment? So that's something which I'm discussing also with my colleagues in the research areas, and I have one of maybe explanations on that, which I want to give you. First of all, it's also difficult to have a picture of the future. Here you can see one of this also not so, would say, good trend outlooks. It come in another area what we saw. Yeah, so that's my first step in this digital world. Maybe one of you knows also, or some of you knows also this computer. You're laughing about it. I bring it as an example today because a normal computer and also a mobile phone has about 450 times more power and 50,000 times more place to have a storage on that, to store your data. Yeah. That was even the first thing what I did when I get this computer. I had these diskettes at the beginning, and I had about 50 of them, and then I stored it on the hard disk drive, and there were even no place on it. It was a great experience at this moment. But it changed tremendously, and now we have that as a resource. And the question is, how can we bring it to also the region in the Alpine sector, or what can we do with that? The explanation for the speed. We have a process which we are doing every day frequently. Yeah? We are something observing with our eyes. Then we have the opportunity to think about solutions. What is the problem here? We have an apple at a tree, 4 meters, and I'm not large enough to get with my hands on that. So we are thinking about the solution, and the solution could be we take one of these devices, technical one, and then we can get the apple. Simple. We do that frequently every day. What happened in the past, in the last 4 or 5 decades? We increased the speed and we have new devices. We have, in the natural science, we have sensors to see things which we didn't see before. The microscope is one of the first devices we had. Now we have this cool impressions with the digital devices on the head. We have the mathematical science with computers, we have processors, we have tools for thinking. Yeah. And we have also technical sciences with robots and so on in machineries which help us to work. And what we did in the past, we changed it frequently. And what happens now is that not only the devices changes in a loop, we have increased the frequency of the change. In almost any decade, I was one of the first who had these computers. In almost any decade, we increased the speed exponential. Yeah. And we could think about what will be the next after artificial intelligence and all of the tools which we have now on the screen or on the mobile phone and so on. So the first, I would say, impression which I want to give you, it will not get slower anymore. The question is, how can we do that with 2 eyes, with 2 ears, and only 2 hands? Yeah. How can we handle that? And you can see that also in your working environment. I think a lot of people have problems with their own emotional and thinking processes in the background. How can we have work-life balance and all of these things? Maybe a chance also for the Alpine regions to say, okay, come to us. We have a better environment and maybe less technology at the moment, but the technology could also help to go in this area of innovation and digital transformation. Yeah, what happened in the last years? What we see, and this is, I would say, one of the slides where you can see what I said now from this perspective of frequency. ChatGPT, as most of you maybe have also tried some words, and the output is crazy, yeah, or is interesting. It happened 5 days to get 1 million users. It happened 27 years to have 1 million people at the telephone line, but of course it was not the mobile phone, but was a little bit more effort to do that. But you see, also here you can see this tremendous change and also this high frequency which we have. Also a slide from a research area at the moment. What drives this change in this moment? What drives this change? Of course, artificial intelligence. And you can see no branch, no sector of the industry is excluded. Yeah. Everyone will feel this change, and so we are forced also to integrate these skills in our workplace areas, in our job descriptions and so on. What you also see is the climate change, of course. Yeah. We've a little bit forgotten in the last months because something changed in Europe, yeah, which you all know. Now we are investing in defense. Also nice, or a question, what can we do with that? And but we have maybe the possibility also to work further on how can we change the climate in a good direction for us. Yeah, what are the effects for a digital transformation? What are the key areas which I want to address? The first one is digital infrastructure. Of course, I didn't have the internet in my hometown or home area, so I didn't have the possibility to get a good job in my area. I think that changed 5G as a internet broadband is available in Austria almost everywhere. Fiber to the home, also a goal of some, I would say, countryside regions and so on. The second one, digital skills. Of course, we have to learn to use these tools and to integrate it in the jobs. And the third one, and that's what I want to focus now for my speech, because I have only 20 minutes, some more, maybe we had some, we started a little bit later. Yeah, so the local innovation, what can we do? And I want to give you here some experience on what we did up to now in these areas with digital transformation tools. So the focus will be this local innovation. I will not talk about the infrastructure. I think that is something which the majors have to solve with less money in the areas. I think that's the great advantage or the great opportunity. If you have that, it's a good environment to start with digital transformation. But if you do not have that, it's a problem. So the first problem which you have to solve is, if you start something new, normally you have a lot of people who say, no, that will not work. And I'm not part of the game, and to change something is difficult. So we are not so used to change in this frequency our working environments and our tools and our behaviors and so on. So that's the first thing which we have to overcome. And I want to show you some practical examples where that already changed and already was successful. And also some information what happened in the background, what was the methodology which was used to transport it. First of all, skiing regions have a big problem. Also with climate change, we have higher temperatures. And that was a region where the provider of the services skiing said, we have to close. It's in Lower Austria, not at a very high level from also a mountain region is not so good placed for having higher lower temperatures in the winter. But what happened? There were some people who said that cannot be that we close that region. What can we do to really have an economic impact, and how can we help the region to succeed in the future? And then we started with a bottom-up approach, and we asked all the people who are living there with their children and using these devices, have you some ideas? How can we have an economic part and new services and so on to be successful also in the future? Maybe with also usage in the summer for summer environment, for tourism or the usage in this area. And at the end of the day, and that was a 60 days challenge where we asked for ideas. We had 467 ideas from people who were thinking about what can we do together? How can we bring that region to fly also for the next 10 years, because we need for our children the skills skiing. Skiing is a great sport for Austrians, and we do not want to lose that. So that was the impact. And what we did, we had a technical device. It's an innovation platform where you can register, and then you can bring in the ideas, but not only, it's not, so I can show you the mechanics in the background, it's not an idea box where you put it into and then you are happy and satisfied. No, it's a building of a network. We use this digital device to bring people together, to talk about the ideas, to give feedback, to give a like on that, and then happens something which is really an impact in the region. It's coming up with an emotion, and people are satisfied also with these ideas, and we want to go one step further and to be part of the solution. That's what happened. And also, I think the provider of the skiing area also was collecting some money besides, because he said, oh, if people have ideas, maybe we have also some other resources which we could bring in. So that was also one of the tasks beside. Yeah. So that's the background of the digital device. It's a network environment and not only a box where you put in it. So and these networks help you to get to resources, to think about the future ideas, and also to collaborate. Yeah? And what we always see in such processes, we identify people which you didn't know that we are also interested in working in the next step, also to fulfill and to be in the realization also in a part and bring in my resources. That's also an effect that we always see. We do not use it only in regions, we use it also in larger companies which have different affiliates all over the world to think about the future of a company, but it works also very good in regions, and it works especially good in Alpine regions with tourism aspects, because the motion in the background of I'm now in a holiday season or something else is also very helpful for creative processes. So that's maybe a resource which you could think about. One of the outcomes, a colleague of mine had the idea to come up with such a tiny house. I show you because it's maybe also something which you could place in such Alpine regions. It's not only a house of wood which you can drive from one place to another. It's also a high-tech environment, because you have a lot of electronic devices in the background, also to being really self-sufficient with the things. That's what was one of the ideas also. So that's also and maybe an opportunity to come up with new solutions, new services. And this project, the first piece of this tiny house, was also crowdfunded, and that's maybe something which also could be a resource for you, and I will show you how that works. In the background of this, I think also mindset of people who like to live in a tiny house is also this circular economy thinking. So people like to have processes where you say, not the wasting of resources is in the focus. You have also a good mood if you use such infrastructure, and that is one of the most models in the background and most also in a research area discussed model where you have one of the goals in the foreground, that if you build something new, you should have this added value as long as it is possible in the usage phase. Yeah, that's one of these goals. So that's also something which you should take in account if you plan something new. Crowdfunding is also an opportunity to bring the community to a next level. So it's not only the ideas. People who are also here in this region had the opportunity to co-fund also a new railway environment at Gastein. And it was also a crazy idea and a crazy, I would say, opportunity to do that. We had the goal to have 100,000 additional investment, because of course the experts of you know with even 1.5 million euros you cannot have a successful project on that area. It costs about, I think, 30 millions were invested from Gastein Bergbahn. But the idea was to integrate all of the people who are in this area. And I remember at the beginning of this crowdfunding campaign, we had the invitation from the mayor in the hall in Gastein. About 500 or 600 people were there. All of the inhabitants said, okay, we are starting. I want to be a part of the game. Here's my money. Where can I bring it to the next level that there can also be an investor on that area? And then we started the online phase, because it's also a digital device we use for the integration of this community. And at the end of the day, we had 1.5 million euros, and it took 3 days to get to this money. All of the people who were invited were very engaged. And that was an additional resource, not much, but it was more this emotional change that I'm also a part of this new device. I'm an innovator. I can be part of the game. So that was a real impact also. This was the third example. What is in the background of crowdfunding? Crowdfunding has one effect. You have not only a financing process, you have also the communication process. You can make this project visible, people can be part of that, and you get also one effect that you reduce the risk to a minimum, because people invest in a project, and only if the money is there at the end of the day, it starts. If the money doesn't come from the customer side, then we will not start to produce the service or the product. So, and that's also a reducing of the risk of such a project. And of course, the integration of the people who are living there is an aspect which delivers visibility to different areas. And that's what we also used. Also the tourism area, or the tourists who are using this new device were integrated. Okay, I'm running out of time. So, outlook, what comes next? Some words to that. Digital skills. I think that's the first step. You should integrate learning process in your communities, and one of the possibilities to do that online, that is the online portal where you can have some knowledge learning processes for Web3, blockchain devices and so on, and you also have the certification. You can do it now here from this area with a smartphone. That's a possibility if you have the knowledge, of course. And then you get a certificate from 4 universities in Switzerland. What you also will see in the next step is digital avatars, digital twins. Reid Hoffman is the founder of LinkedIn, which has more than 1 billion users in between. Most of you maybe have an account on that. And what he did, the right side is the real Reid, and the left side is the AI Reid. And what he did, he gave the AI Reid all of his speeching tasks and videos and books and conversations. And so all of that stuff was in the brain of this AI avatar. And then that was the viral effect of this story. He started to talk with him and say, hey, Reid, AI, you were writing a book, 500 pages. Tell me in 2 sentences what's in for me. Yeah. And if you think one step further, we have one problem also in such areas with the elderly peoples who are not available anymore. A lot of knowledge gets lost. Yeah? So I see also an opportunity to store our knowledge for the next generations in such electronic devices. Yeah? And if you have also the connections between these different people who are talking at the living time, then I think we have a nice opportunity also to use resources. So, last slide, or almost last slide. The next, the next opportunity to prepare electronic prototypes will be chatting with an interface. Yeah? So most of you who maybe have programmers in the company or in your area know that you can also get from ChatGPT program codes. Here is the next level. You can talk with an interface about your devices and about your application, and this tool will prepare the application which you can use one step further. Yeah. So you do not have to program it. You can prototype it on a chat interface. It will be in 3 or 4 months, it will be available. Here, Dominic Williams is the driver in the background. He has also the resources because cryptocurrency is also in the background. So that's the next level of digital tools, and we will see that. And because you will also see this in your regions, because the tourism from China will come with that interfaces, of course, and will use that. Yeah. And then you are forced also to have an answer on that. What's happening in your environment? Okay, summary. The pace of the change will continue, will increase. That's the first, which you should take into account in your workshops. Second one, all jobs will change with these new tools, all. Nobody can say artificial intelligence is not for me. No, everything will change. And we are at the beginning. So the great opportunity is now to start to make the best mistakes at the moment. Yeah? That's what you should have as an experience at the beginning. It will not be perfect what you will build at the beginning. It's a very complex process, but artificial intelligence will not, would say, disrupt the jobs or to change all our different job areas. But those who do not use these tools will have a problem. Yeah. We will maybe exchanged from other ones who use the tools. Yeah. That's what we will see it in the next step. And for today, I hope I could give you some thoughts for the workshops. So it begins with your mind. How far away is that what you want to reach? And yeah, that's what I want to give you in this keynote speech. Thank you for listening. I'm open for questions and have fun here in Lienz. I like the region, and if you have some questions, please, I'm here also for this afternoon. Thank you very much.